Hey YouTube, get some people in here. Yep, Steve's doing another live video. What's wrong with him? Ding. Hey Sherwin, what's up? Glad somebody came in here. Wonder if somebody else is live. People have been having trouble getting some of my notifications. But I thought I would share some numbers with you guys, but apparently no one's interested in that. Well, Sherwin is. He showed up, so... Get my tablet going, see if I can read comments if anybody shows up. Comments if anybody shows up. Well, Sherwin, I'll share them. I'm not going to do this whole... I'm not saying anything until I get 100 people in here. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that way. There was a certain... yeah, Harold, big weeks are great. Yeah. Here's the thing with numbers. When it comes to the owner-operator world, what works for some doesn't work for others. My numbers may not be as impressive as, say, a Schneider IC that's got a Schneider finance truck that's running 3,000 miles a week. Or runs in a good area, that kind of thing. Hey Kimasabi, King Trucker, how's it going? So you open a can of worms with numbers. Hey Gear Grabber, what's up? Big Rich, how's it going? Harold says it only matters what you need to do and what your goals are. That's exactly right. You know, there's a really good page on the on Facebook called Rate Per Mile Masters, and especially if you work spot market freight. And however, there's always this discussion of what's cheap freight. You know, I know a guy that's heavy haul at Landstar that makes more money in a day than I do all month, or that a typical dry man would do all month. I'm doing all right, Ian. Hey Steve Berger, what's up, man? I've been pointing people in your direction on your channel. Yeah, the cheap freight discussions, Big Rich, yeah. Hey TJ, what's up? There's a line. There's no cut and dry. There's a line that you got to do. You don't want to run for 80 cents a mile, but at the same time, you need to be able to run for 80 cents a mile if needed. You know, you gotta, what makes it work for you. I'll take a cheaper load if it gets me directly to the house. Mind you, I have customers that are literally next door to my house in Springfield that the Big Orange has, so I'm willing to do those for under $1 a mile. But in the end, 90% of drivers that talk about not taking cheap freight, ask them what their numbers are. Ask them, what is your cost per mile to run that truck? And I bet you a lot of them can't tell you that. So that's why it opens up a can of worms. You got people arguing about numbers when they don't even know their own numbers themselves, you know? So it's kind of like, you know, what came first, chicken or the egg? You know, it's almost a theological discussion now, you know? I did one, but the next load was good. Yeah, you know, that's the other thing. You know, the rate per miles, they're all like, well, there's no such thing as a backhaul. Well, yeah, but deadheading 500 miles, you know, is that any better, you know? Steve Berger said it's all about your average. I'll take a cheap load to get me to a high paying load. Exactly. Big Rich, my personal expenses are far less than a lot of other guys, and not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty decent with strategic fueling. I don't need $2 a mile to survive. Exactly. And that's what the e-logs thing is kind of freaking some of these owner-operators out, is like, you know, when I was a company guy at Transland, and I know I bring Transland up a lot, but that's the only company I've worked for as a company driver, but they had owner-operators, and they left when the e-logs kicked in over there because they couldn't run 4,000 miles a week anymore. But these guys are running 4,000 miles a week and still breaking even. It's like, how does that happen, you know? So, TJ, did they ever call you? Pooch says, hey, what's up, Steve? This is James at Landstar. I met you at the Petro Iron Scale. Oh, hey, James. How's it going, man? Hope things are well for you at Landstar. Too many people spend more than they can afford. Exactly, and I'm guilty of that myself. Why? Because I didn't know my numbers. John Capone, huh, what's up? That's the thing, man. It's like, you know, I winged it for so long, and you know, Steve Berger and I were talking about this the other day, about how your mentality changes. You know, you got to go from just a company driver winging it as an owner-operator to actually treating it like a business. And I think that's a little bit harder for people to do here at the Big Orange, because they still treat you like a company driver in many aspects. Yes, we pick and choose our freight, but we got check calls. We are forced dispatch on the trailers, search. You know, we got to do all the safety stuff and that kind of thing. Let's see, Big Rich, what's your 20? It's dark as hell here in the house of Western North Carolina. I'm in Dallas. Gear Grabber, damn, I feel your pain. It took me a while to get on. Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about maybe TL. You know, I don't know if you want that out there. I'm the guy trying to build an empire, so netting $1,500 a week is a blah week for me, LOL. Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. What works for you, what works for different people. Kimasabi is right. You need to get that overhead low. Steve Berger says, I learned early on from Jeff that success is in the numbers. Ira says, what's up, Steve? Yeah, and by paying attention to the numbers, I've realized that, you know, I was having a discussion with Russell today here at the Dallas OC. I've ran into him twice in the last week, and he's a fellow, you know, he's a follower of YouTube, you know, and we've talked about a lot of things, and I told him that my gross per mile is down, but my net per mile is up. Part of that's the truck, but part of it's because I'm choosing better loads. I'm choosing shorter stuff. Not that I didn't have any problem doing a $3 mile load that went 80 miles before, but I'm definitely holding out a little bit for them, you know, because it's not about what you net. It's not about what you gross. It's about what you net. TJ says, I can book 3 loads a week, revenue $3,000, miles 1,800, and net 1,400, 1,500 house. That's a 4 to 5 day week. That's exactly what I do, TJ. That's exactly what I do. My overhead's low, so I can pull that off, you know. John Capone, TJ, who are you leased to? Big Rich, Harold Huffman, I'm right there with you. The only thing is I'm intending to use the money I earn from riding the roads to invest in real estate. Big Rich, real estate is true wealth. You know, that's wealth that can't be taken away. Hey, CT, what's up, man? Christian Trucker. Hey, guys, while I got Christian Trucker here, he also, I haven't watched your video yet, Christian Trucker, but he posted his numbers. He's a Schneider IC that raises family with a single out income with the Schneider finance truck. So he's proof that it could be done, and he's looking at bigger and better things. Everybody go down to Christian Trucker's channel and subscribe to him. He's got a great channel, and it's got a positive message usually. Well, all the time, but you know, that's net too, yeah. TJ is a told John that he's a Schneider IC. Anyways, I haven't mentioned my numbers yet. So I made 4166 this week, with about 3,000 miles, 3,100 miles, and I've got like 2 hours left of my 70. I could have made it out of Dallas today, but I didn't want to risk it, and I thought, well, the only place I can make it to is Durant. They're in Choctaw, the Choctaw Casino, and why hang out in the dirty parking lot with the Burger King where I could just hang out here at a secure yard and get a shower in, and there's not dirt everywhere. And then tomorrow morning, I'll get up at like 4, because I shut down at like noon today. I'll get up at 4 and I'll beat all the traffic. Now, Dallas likes to close the interstates like overnight, so there might be a situation like that. But for the most part, I'm hoping to get up 75 and up to Durant before all the traffic hits. And you know, if anybody's been around Dallas, you know, you gotta get your act rolling by 5 a.m. or else you're gonna be screwed. Benjamin Duke, I would think that you would want the lowest all miles with the highway average with the lowest cost for the week. Exactly. That's what I do. Very rarely do I run 3,000 miles. And what helped my income this week was I had 3 loads that had no deadhead. For example, the load I delivered today, I literally dropped the loaded and picked up a loaded. It took an hour and a half to drop and hook because there's a lot of ignorance going on. But there was no deadhead. You know, originally the load was supposed to be ready till tomorrow, so I thought I was going to have to drop my trailer, bobtail back to the yard, and then tomorrow morning pick it up. But it was ready when I got there, so I was able to pick it up early. And like I said, I wasn't brave enough to see if I could make it to Durant, you know, with the little bit of time I had. You're welcome, Christian Trucker. He says, thanks, boss. I'll keep up the good work. You know, Christian Trucker and I have connected on the phone, and you know, networking is extremely important no matter who you work for, because, and I'm sorry for the noise, I got my windows open, you know, it's like a circus here at the yard. Everybody's coming in and parking, and but you know, he could tell me about the customers in the south, and I could tell him about the customers in my area. And you know, and when it comes to oddball time or oddball areas that you're going to run, you know, it's good to have somebody that knows the area, so you can, oh yeah, don't go there, or that's an awesome run, or you know, that kind of thing. I had a driver, a Schneider IC, call me last night. He runs the Northwest, and someone's burning rubber. And he runs the Northwest, but he's wanting to come to the Midwest because the Northwest wasn't working for him. Kimasabi's asking Steve Berger, how's the new truck? TJ Jones, I did it at 260 this week because of a canceled load. Yeah, you have to make a decision whether you want to break the chain or and rebook all your loads, or just keep the chain going and just eat the deadhead. Here's the thing with deadhead. I'm not afraid to deadhead 200 miles at all. I have got my deadhead miles lower, but as long as that average rate is up there, because here's the thing, when you're empty, you're going to make 10 miles to the gallon. So it's not costing you as much as it would be if you're running a load per mile to get there. What is expensive is time. So if you deadhead 300 miles, you know, that's a half a day wasted on deadhead. But as long as, you know, hell, if you deadhead 300 miles for $1,000 load and you get it done in a day, no harm, no foul, you know, and half the miles were done empty, you know. Harold says, I have an SFI truck, just ran numbers for Mr. Like. My average gross since April is 4,000. Average net is 1,700. Extra money each week on my payment for time off without payment, $10.87 a week. Steve Berger says, Christian Trucker, I can't watch snake videos, man. I'm terrified of snakes. So yeah, I'm watching Christian Trucker's video, and there's a copperhead in the yard. I'm sitting there like, and he's got the view, the camera on the snake. You know, you're just looking, all of a sudden, wham! The snake explodes. He shot it. It made me jump because I wasn't expecting that. Harold Huffman says, SFI truck doesn't mean a great living, can't be made. Just have to work a little bit harder for, maybe. Yeah, that's the thing. If you can make money with the Schneider Finance truck, Christian Trucker proves that. Steve Berger proves that. You do have to live on the low board a little bit more, and you have to run smarter. You know, and there's a little bit less room for error. You know, if I have a low cancel, it's not a big deal. It's, you know, there's more room to breathe, per se, you know. I've had my share of issues, Kemosabe, but I'm making money. Hey, Mr. Lord, where you at? I'm in Dallas. Deadhead's not a deal breaker for making money. Exactly. Especially when I was at Landstar. I deadheaded quite a bit. David Never says, I really appreciate your positive attitude. David, I'm going to address that. Okay, so I've been kind of depressed today because good old Facebook memories reminded me that my dog that I had 2 years ago died, you know, 2 years ago today. I was kind of in a lousy mood, and Dallas will put you in a bad mood. But here's the thing, if I can put out positive energy, and that's why I like Christian Trucker's channel, is if I can put out positive energy, it helps the industry as a whole, because, you know, it's like today, for example, I was in line to check in. I should have got it on my camera. I'm in a line of trucks checking in, and this FedEx box truck barrels all past us. He parks in the outbound gate in the way of everybody, just to unload 5 boxes, and he could not give 2 craps about anybody. He had his nose to the grind, and he did not care. He made it known that he did not care. And a driver that he got in the way of was trying to make a sharp turn by him, and in the nose of his trailer, I got bug in here, a nose of his trailer hit the FedEx truck, and the dude took off. The 18-wheeler guy took off, and the guy at the FedEx truck looks at his truck, sees a few scratches, kind of shrugs his shoulder, and then he leaves. And it's like, no one cares anymore. No one cares. So I try to be positive, man. You know, it does no good to be negative. It does no good to show hatred towards anybody. It really doesn't, you know. Are there any hot babes where you at? Yes, there's a couple UC95. Do you set a weekly wage and the rest is set aside as company profit? Benjamin, I'm not technical on that. What I do is I put in what the truck needs, like truck payment, extra for maintenance, and then the house doesn't need a whole lot for me, so because my wife works, she has a good job, so I just kind of stack it and use it as I need it. I don't really give myself a wage. Steve Berger says, okay, let's go back here, guys. Sorry, guys. Ira says, I lost some money today. My load canceled. Now I'm sad that I had a load paying 5G to go 2,100 miles. Now I'm waiting to see what opportunities will come tomorrow. Yep, that's the industry for you. David Nevers, my cat died 3 weeks ago today. I'm sorry. Ira says, my pit buddy died 2 weeks ago. Sorry about your loss, Steve. What's up? Harold Huffman, 2 loads, 25 deadhead miles, 250 loaded miles, $600, or 150 miles, 150 loaded miles, $600. Give me number 2. Exactly. That's what I do, Harold. That's kind of my philosophy. There's a load that goes from Springfield to Joplin that pays $300. That's 78 miles. I'll even deadhead from one to the other, and it still comes out to like $2 a mile. The only thing I would change was SFI is MMA. Steve and I were kind of talking about this the other day. Schneider Finance is designed to make you run like a company driver. So they don't want you to think that you have to have 10 grand in the bank just in case repairs happen. And they will happen. I don't care if you got a new truck or not, you know. Repairs are going to happen. And so they don't want your mind, you know, they don't trust you enough to make sure that you're setting aside money, you know, with their truck. You know, people like me, they could care less. But you can set it up to where they're not taking out the MMA. Christian Trucker just said that. Kemosabe's getting rid of his SFI truck. That's the move, dude. I know a lot of people are doing that. You know, Steve Berger says he's going to talk about that in his SFI versus ownership video coming soon. Juan says, come back to LA. I know you missed this LA traffic. No, Juan. It was kind of funny. There was the driver I was talking to yesterday. He was talking about Chicago. He's worried about Chicago traffic. I'm like, dude, LA traffic is worse than Chicago. I mean, yeah, Chicago, you got the low overpasses to worry about, but, you know, I've seen those LA traffic jams. I watched a couple episodes of Chips. I know what it's like. You know, TJ's asking how to get the MMA done after a year. I think you just call him and say, hey, dude, stop it. You know, hey, I think I'm caught up on all the comments, guys. Chips. Yep. Anybody remember Chips? You know, it was always the formula, man. They always did like all the cars are on the interstate doing like 30 miles an hour, and you know something was going to go down, and all of a sudden there's a drunk, you know, or a couple arguing, and, you know, it's going to create this big situation. You knew it was coming, man. Brent says, what's up, Steve? How are you? I'm fine. Ira says he's in San Diego. Exactly. There's a... You hear that noise? It sounds like somebody's dragging their landing gear. This dude's trailer is like tilted. It's like this. I don't know if he's got an airbag out or if his load shifted. Yep, his load shifted. He's parked next to me. I won't put him on video because that would be rude. I don't think you can see anyways, it's dark. But UC95, later snore that's hot. Alright, UC95, take it easy, man. No debate payments are high, but it's not a death sentence possibly good. Exactly. I know people at Prime, you know, Prime is infamous for the high payments. And I know people that are doing very well at Prime. You know, it's a custom fit. It's a custom fit. I considered getting a Schneider Finance truck because you talk to Jeffrey, he knows how to simplify the numbers. And see, that's the other thing. Simplify. Don't complicate things. You know, keep it simple. Put your nose to the grind, pick the smart loads, run your numbers. You know, it's like you know, I run into guys that, you know, pinch the pennies on the fuel, and, you know, oh, if I fuel 70 gallons in Indiana and then 30 gallons in Missouri, and, you know, that kind of thing, and I don't do that. Now, could I save money if I did that? Yeah, but see, the more you complicate things, the more the more likely you are to kind of lose sight of what you're doing, you know? Think about what these big corporations do, like Walmart or even Schneider. They complicate the system to the point that it makes it worse, you know? Like, you know, like, for example, if Swift would take all their number crunching and worked on driver retention, then they wouldn't have to hire all the new guys that are wrecking their trucks. You see what I mean? It's as simply It's a simplification process. Think about insurance companies like health insurance. What do? They complicate the system to where, it used to be that you had a HMO, and for a $20 copay you saw the doctor. There was no, oh, you need a percentage of this and down payment of that, or you need to reach this threshold. Complicate the system and you make more money from the consumer. You keep the consumer stupid. Look at cell phone plans. The last time I had to go get a cell phone plan, it was like I felt like I was getting a car loan, because you had to sign this, that, and they had all these formulas for this, that, and the other. It's like, how about for $40 a month you give me a phone with this many minutes? What happened? What was wrong with that formula? It's too simple. You can't make money that way, And I found out I was getting a $20 a month charge on something that I was ignorant to because I was kind of lost, I think it's the drummer of either the drummer or bass player of Guns N' Roses that came out with a book that simplified the stock market. Think about the stock market. That's a complicated system on purpose, so you and me can't go and make money that way. Let's see here. I'm a little bit behind. What do you use to track and know your numbers? Profit Gauges, Trucker Pro. I'm a new Trucker Pro user, and so far I'm loving it, but I'm a little bit behind on it. I've been keeping everything down on paper. I've been scanning my bills and receipts for the documents on Truckin' Pro, but I still have to enter the numbers, and I think that next time I'm home I'll just take a day and do it then. Even though I have my laptop with me, I just haven't been in the mood to do it. But I love that program. Fabian says, hey Steve, been enjoying your vids since Landstar days. Thank you, Fabian. Ian MacArthur, yep, got all 6 seasons on DVD. What 6 seasons? Oh, Chips. Knight Rider, yeah. That's on Netflix too, I think Knight Rider is, I think. Big Rich said he nearly died just now after slipping in dog puke, so there's that. Yeah, a friend of mine was at the Indy yard, Schneider yard, and he tripped and almost grabbed onto the electric fence. You gotta watch yourself sometimes. Where did I get my truck from, Asmus? Did you say it was Neosho? It was Joplin, the MHC Kenworth right there next to Flying J. The sales guy that helped me out, he retired. He was with MHC Kenworth at that particular dealership for 26 years, and he retired just last week. He was a good guy. Rizzo says they like to quantify by multiplying pennies with the amount of trucks they have. Exactly. It's yeah. Harold says, hey, by the way, I about died earlier when I saw that quarter pounder and fries pop out of the lunchbox cooker. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. The driver that called me yesterday, we talked about health, and I had to tell him about that video. I was like, have you seen my newest cooking video? And he's like, no. I'm like, well, don't be offended, because I made that before we had this conversation. But he was a guy that lost 100 pounds, and he's trying to inspire me to be healthier, which I am eating healthier. I think UC95 asked, what about eating healthier? And the McDonald's thing was just a joke. I did eat the McDonald's, but that might be why I'm in a crappy mood today, because that stuff affects your head. Groundhog says, hey now, I had a driver approach me here at the OC. He's like, so making any more hamburger and fries? It was cool. I'm being recognized every time I come here into Dallas. So Matthew Brunk, Captain Snore, what are you doing up this late? Only weirdos are up at this hour, which is why I'm up. It's not that late. It's only 9 o'clock here. Clyde, what's up now? Tom H, I've been good, thanks. Christian Trucker, I use pen and paper, LOL. I want the program, I think it would be best. Christian Trucker, this program is awesome. Awesome. I wish I would have done it. This is how it should be. I wish I would have bought the truck and then bought the program. That's how important I think this program is. Groundhog and Steve Berger are talking. Fabian says I put everything on Excel. Takes a little time to set up, but pretty easy to do after a while. That's how Truckin' Pro is. I do believe that there are phone apps that would work out great, but not sure which one is rated the best. I was using profit gauges for my fuel for a while, but it kept locking up. Someone told me that Kevin Rutherford is starting a lease purchase plan with Landstar, which is kind of interesting because wasn't he the one that says lease purchases are bad ideas? Big Rich says, Snore Jesus, we'll do it together. We all need motivation and inspiration. My name isn't Big Rich for nothing. Exactly. Wish you nothing but profit with that hot rod, Steve. Thank you. I use the CPA wife program, says Steve Berger. Yep. You know, Groundhog asks, how's the new truck been running? I have had a couple of issues. So last week I got fuel, and within an hour I had the check engine light come on. So it was either bad def or bad fuel. I'm assuming. I could be wrong. I checked the fault code. It just says you got to hook up the laptop. So the APU has been running kind of rough too. Last night it would just be running, all of a sudden it would like drop off, lose power, and then come back on. So that would make me think that I wonder if there's a fuel issue. And the APU does need a service, so I need to take care of that. So I need to get home. The truck is running, knock on wood, decent. Fuel mileage hasn't changed. But I'm worried about check engine light. But like I said, I got friends that have these trucks that check engine lights all the time. Peterbilt, check engine light was on all the time. And I thought, well, you know, maybe that's why my turbo went out. I've got 414,000 miles on it, Butch. You asked how many miles are on it. Kevin Dog lease purchase every show. Yeah, and so I don't know if it's true that he's starting a lease purchase program with Landstar. But see, with the new brokerages like Amazon and Convoy and Uber coming into play, Landstar's business model is gonna hurt a little bit. Benjamin says agreed on some kind of tracking program at the beginning, then making the connections what the numbers tell you. Exactly. Big Rich, I just bought a NutriBullet that I plan to use to substitute my normal breakfast of a sausage biscuit and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I bought the $10 little blender thing, and I bought that protein stuff, and that stuff does fill you up. Fabian says, Tri-Pack sucked for me, had to replace fuel pump twice. Yeah, I'm done with Tri-Pack. I will never own a Tri-Pack. TK called me today asking about the carrier, and I'm like, that's the way to go. Yes, I'm having a couple problems with mine, but the shop that's in Springfield, I totally trust. And here's the other thing. Anybody who wants an APU, do not, under any circumstances, go to APUcenter.com or APU Center there in Stratford, Missouri. Do not go there. If you do, I will find you and I will kick you in the shins. I am against them. Christian Chuck says, I'm addicted to Dr. Pepper thanks to my wife. I hate Dr. Pepper. Here's why. When I was a kid, we had a friend of my dad's gave us a ton of I'm talking like case after case after case of Dr. Pepper. And so what does a little kid do? Oh, I'm going to drink all the soda I can. Pretty soon I didn't want to look at a Dr. Pepper, and to this day I'll take a sip every now and then, be like, hey, let me taste that. Yep, still lame. Okay, don't want it anymore. Soda is toxic. I hauled for Transland, I hauled chemicals with placards, not just one, but 2 or 3 sets of placards that were for Dr. Pepper. So think about that for a minute. What protein stuff? Do a little ad placement, huh? Actually, I got it right here. There you go. Phases protein. The problem with protein powders is if you still eat, you're gonna get fat. You're taking in extra calories. But if I do that in the morning, especially with a banana, I'm full. I don't even feel like eating. Kevin and Ollie, good evening. Big Rich, blasphemous. Dr. Pepper is the best. Well, Big Rich, if you're on Ike's channel, he would get on to you about putting that period after doctor there. So you must not be a purist, right? Swig of DP for the working man. So the Coca-Cola I love is killing me. Yes, Steve Berger. Coach Snorlord. Oh, don't even go there, CT. Don't even go there. Sweet, I'm gonna have to check that out. Coach Snorlord. You guys are funny. Oh, that was cool. Some of these guys really kind of put some bling on their trucks, man. It's kind of impressive. Ike. With Ike, man, live feed. He knows I'm a moderator. There's one live feed he did. Heading to the rack later. Y'all be safe. No, I'm here. Yeah, my feed is getting bad. I'm gonna end this video. I didn't really talk about my numbers too much, did I? I just had a pretty good week this week. It's probably my best week I've had here. But I've seen the numbers. I've seen people have $6,000 weeks here, so it could be done. So